All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of 30 Videos in 30 Days with Deep Video. I am your host, Jason Dyer. This whole thing is part of our parallel effort to get ourselves down to Austin, Texas, July 29th through the 31st for the Worker Cooperative National Conference. Deep Video wants to grow up into this big badass thing called a co-op. What we're doing is talking to different creators, people who have skin in the game of getting from point A to point B. We are joined tonight. We are live on location at Dance Silverleaf. That's why the wood and all the awesome shit looks familiar to you there. We are speaking with Bane Joseph Cook of Mildly Distorted Promotions. Say howdy, Bane.
Howdy, Bane.
So tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Well, I do a lot of stuff. I'm an entrepreneur. I did not go to school for this. I tried, partied too much, so I had to drop out. Because at a certain point, you just really got to focus on what you love, right? So Mildly Distorted was a chance for me to go through school, go through the motions, learn my craft while I'm helping bands out, right? So I'd throw shows and, it'd be bands that I like, right?
Right.
But it'd also be an opportunity for me to go ahead and perfect my craft while helping bands,
So I'm trying to get my head around it. Which one was aces for you? Which was first? Was it putting the bands on the stage, or was it the videography of the bands once they got there?
Man, first and foremost, it was putting bands on stage,
Right on.
And getting new bands on stage, the ones that don't really have the media. Because what I found is the labels, the fans, all these people who are searching you up want some material, They want some photos. They want especially some video to see you live. Because, say a label, they want to see you live as opposed to your recordings to where you can do whatever you want, layer over tracks, do an auto-tune. But if you don't do it right live, at the same time, that's what I love to do. That's what I want to do. So that's what I did.
Right on. How long have you been doing that in Denton?
Officially for about 3.5, 4 years now. I started. You want to know how I started?
Yes, I do. How'd you start? Yeah.
You want to know how I started?
Go for it.
I started in Public House here in Denton, which at that point they were having DJs, every weekend. So I got a $40 paycheck with a $25 bar tab, which at the time was
BA, right? That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So I got into it pretty much to get in the DJ booth and to take shots with the DJs.
Right on.
But then I caught the fever, and I could not go to a show without taking my camera.
Right on. Yeah.
But at a certain point, you can't do it for free.
Yeah, right.
You need to develop your craft because there's a lot of time you put into this. There's a lot of money you got to put into this. So.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what it's like to try and grab the type of clients that we work with?
Yeah. Exactly. It takes a personal touch. It takes going out and investing your time in bands for them to realize that it's worth investing their time in you,
Right.
Venues, you can't talk to them. You cannot talk to venues because they do not value you. They don't value you.
I always look at it in the following manner. Like venues they are the hub. They're what's bringing everything in. Regardless of what happens to grace the stages, that's where people are going, right? So they're almost set up to feel that marketing is absolutely unnecessary for them, regardless of the reality, right?
Exactly. Because if you're booking a show, like I don't need to book a show.
Right.
The venue books a show or the bands book a show. And then the venues, I don't know if y'all know this, they really don't take care of their bands. Most of them. If you find a good venue, stick with that venue because they're going to pay you right. But then you can expand, So all these different steps, right?
Yeah.
How do local bands have access to that?
Right. That was kind of one of the thoughts that you and I jammed out on earlier this year. It was like there's totally a barrier to entry when it comes to media.
Definitely.
It's like you're either already spending and making the money, and so it's not an issue for you at all, or you don't have it and you need it and you can't find a way to get your hands on it.
Or you have a family member who comes out with a camera and they're the...
Sure, yeah. and then you got what you didn't pay for, right?
Exactly.
So I want to ask you what your impressions were the first time that you and I talked about a video cooperative or multimedia cooperative. Do you remember that conversation and what the first thoughts in your mind were?
In the sweaty media
yeah.
room that was, the ITC media room. Yes, definitely. I was so excited. Because not only me, but there are so many other creators that need a platform to put their work up on, because it's kind of hard, and after a while you get beat down. You can only do it so long running on affirmations or accolades,
I started having to make flashcards, man.
Right.
Like hang in there kitty flashcard type things. Like, dude, I got this. We're going to make it through to the next thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you had a chance to try to talk about this with other people, and what is usually their first response, if you have?
Talking about
the concept of the cooperative. Yeah.
Well, first off, it doesn't come up often.
Sure.
Like if someone approached me 3 years ago and said, "Hey, I can help you put your stuff out. I can help you reach more people. I can help you do what you love, while still giving you the opportunity to expand."
Right.
Just like what, and I think I could confidently say this, just like what I do for bands.
Right. Yeah.
It's a cooperative. It's us, our creative selves, putting everything that we do towards a higher, a higher network to help out artists, not just ourselves. Because let's be real. Sometimes we think only of ourselves.
True. Yeah.
We just get caught up. That's bad to say, but we get caught up in our craft.
Right.
And we don't know how to market ourselves. We don't know how to expand. We just love doing what we do.
Yeah. I have a good example of that. I was talking to Paul the other day about this. When it came time, okay, so I tried to put my fingers in my ears and go la 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 about having to make better thumbnails for YouTube videos, right? Because I didn't want to touch Photoshop. I was like, this is going to be difficult. It's going to be time consuming. I don't want in on that. Until I had to do it, and then I was like, okay, it's really not that hard. Like, it's just a new thing. It's just the new normal, right? It's the new thing to have to do. So I'm hoping that, as more and more people are exposed to the concept of the cooperative and see it in action, that's what we have to prove. See it in action, that they'll come on board with it as a thing. Like, what else could be a co-op? You know what I mean? Like, imagine there are 2 brew pubs in Austin, and everybody working there owns a share in that thing. I mean, from brewmaster down to the waiter to the busser, that kind of thing. It's pretty awesome, in my opinion.
Well, that's how it should be. Whether it be a cereal factory that lets you,
Sure.
all the employees have a stake.
Right.
Imagine that, have a stake in the company. So, yes, when I heard it, when you talked to me about that, I was very on board. Like, I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Right,
That's never going to change, right?
Right, exactly.
How could it? But I'm really, really psyched about taking what I do, taking the bands that I do for, and giving them a higher platform without them signing their name to a label.
Yes, exactly that, man. That's why that was one of the things we definitely vibed out about, was the concept that the rights should remain with the artists, that the end product should be to get them to the next point where they need to be, right? Let's see. Do you have any words of wisdom or horror story, things that the next camera kid should be avoiding?
Okay. Never leave your equipment in the front seat of your car at an after party for one of the bands.
Fair enough.
Which is awesome, right? Just make sure it's not in the front seat of your car. Lock that in your trunk, because that's something I went through, and it definitely set me back a couple K. So,
man, see, that's what I like about the idea of trying to teach people, like, start this on a cell phone. Start this on something that you already have available, something that you don't have to super invest into the next tier. And then as you do, think about that diminishing returns, because, my camera is like a $700 camera, and I love it. And it does what I need it to do, but I know there's more and more and more. There's always more equipment. Always.
Exactly. Don't put equipment first, 'cause
that's right.
not how you do it. I started on a film camera, right?
Right.
So it got me to frame my shots, because really you only got 30. You only
Right.
got 30 of those, right? And after that, you know, you can take pictures, and after that, video. Because video's just a series of pictures, really. you know?
Right.
So as long as you get lighting down the concepts, spend time researching, all that, go out and do. Go out and do. I don't know how how hard I can stress this. Just go out and do. That's what I did. And part of it is the confidence to go out in a place that you don't know,
Right.
that you don't know anyone. You're just there with your camera.
Right.
So find yourself, find your camera, find what you love to take with your camera, and just go and do it. And then if you like it, pursue it further. If you want to keep it as a hobby, that's a perfect hobby. If
Yeah,
want to
you can
teach
use
to
it for the
your
rest of your
kids,
life, man. Yeah.
It's all about framing life in a different position than how it is right now, which...
Who doesn't want to do that, right?
Right.
We're all gods with a shutter button. So I'm going to pass my mic off to Paul over here. Paul is, he's the cooler. He's coming in with the what the fuck questions, and we'll see how you handle it. All right?
All right, fair enough.
Hey, how's it going, Bane? So, first question. If you could make an ask of the audience, of our audience, right, what would it be? If you could ask them to do something, one thing.
Invest your time. Invest your time in checking out different things. Invest your time in expanding your musical taste. You know, I listen to anything from country to metal. So as long as it's good, go out there and find it.
Okay.
Because the radio can only do so much for your life.
Right. Yeah, that's very good. That's very good information. So, second question. If you could put up a billboard anywhere in the world, what would it say and where would it be?
Why are you looking at this? Live your life.
Where would you put it?
Right in the middle of Times Square, man. That's where I'd put that. Live your life. Stop looking at this billboard.
Amongst the neon lights and everything else. Yeah, that would be perfect, actually. That's awesome. One last question before I go. As a filmmaker, right, what's a purchase of less than $100 that added the most value to your rapport?
I'd say if you're taking advantage of the Rebel series or anything low-level, entry-level, if it has the qualifications to do a UHC 1 card, go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Because the 7D does not have that. All these other higher-level cameras does not have that because they have SD flash card slots, right? So keep up to date on your tech specs. Keep up to date on the new innovations that are coming out because people will be stuck on 5D Mark IIIs or anything like that are the pinnacle, right? But that does not equal skill.
Right.
So keep up to date, know your budget, find out ways like Magic Lantern, hacks for your cameras that get past the pay grade,
The paywall.
yeah,
the
the
paywall
paywall,
that
definitely.
exists. Yeah.
So find ways around that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bane. I'm going to pass it on back to Jason.
How'd you do? Did it work out okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Handle it flawlessly, I'm sure. All right. Well, do you have anything you want to plug before we let the folks go?
Yes, please. Let me plug Criminal Birds. They're the ones in the background. I don't know if you can hear that or not because they're pretty good at this, right?
Right.
But Criminal Birds has been the #1 supporter of me, so I'd like to go ahead and support Criminal Birds. They're a band out of Denton. I'm out of Denton. You will see more stuff out of Denton.
Right.
And I hope to be a part of this and see y'all soon.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of 30 Videos in 30 Days with your host, Jason Dyer, part of Deep Video's effort to get ourselves down there to the Worker Cooperative National Conference hosted at the University of Texas, July 29th through the 31st. We're trying to make big changes to the way things are done here in DFW and indeed this state, and why not the world while we're at it.
Help me, help us, help
Yes.
the scene.
Thank you. If you'd like to get a hold of us and talk about the shows as they're coming along so far, or try to get down with any kind of skills that you've got, you can find us at deepvideobooking@gmail.com. If you'd like to know where we're going to be on the weekends when we're trying to get some of that concert footage, or if you'd like to tell us where to go to get some of that sweet, sweet concert footage, get a hold of us at Deep Video on Twitter. You can find our photos that all of our wonderful and talented photographers are snapping off at random intervals on Instagram, where we could not afford the last 2 letters of the name, at DeepVid. And of course, we're on YouTube at youtube.com/deepvideolive. As always, please go to the Indiegogo campaign. You can just search on Indiegogo.com for Cooperatives Dallas. I guarantee you we're the only ones there. Thank you very much for your time. And like he said, I hope we see you soon.
See you soon.